I back myself. I have always known that I'm an underdog. Even when I was making my debut, a lot of people think I was a star kid. I wasn't. If she looks up to me for that, I do not believe the whole world is against me. I just believe the world has still not understood me enough. Just because I'm a little different from what you expect me to be, you'll take time to adjust to me. मैं आपकी सुबह की चाय नहीं हूँ, मैं black coffee हूँ.
Hi guys, this is Himesh and welcome to Pinkvilla. Today we have with us Arjun Kapoor. Welcome to Pinkvilla, Arjun.
Thank you, Himesh.
And my first question to you is 10 years in the industry, I think you have done 16 films.
Yeah.
Which has been the biggest shock and biggest surprise for you?
Biggest surprise? So it wasn't the biggest surprise for me, but I have to say it was the biggest surprise for a lot of people that didn't expect the film to do well was Key and Ka.
Okay.
Because at that point it was very strange for a boy with an action image and starting out trying to do, macho roles in Aurangzeb and Ishaq Zadeh and Gunde to suddenly take on a house husband and cooking at home and wearing heels and dancing and doing a slight and working opposite a slightly older actor at that time, Kareena being and मेरी तेवर नहीं चली थी, बाल्की सर की शमीता अब नहीं चली थी और करीना की गोरी तेरे प्यार में नहीं चली थी. तो बेसिकली प्रिंसिपल मुद्दा ये था कि ये पिक्चर ये तीन लोग क्यों कर रहे साथ. And I think that, and it was not tracking as well, and it was not like people were running crazy about in excitement. And I remember it was tracking at say about 3 and it ended up doing 7.26 on the first day, and that's almost more than double of what the expected was.
Yeah.
That was the biggest surprise for, I think, I believed a lot in it, but जब आपकी belief को validation मिलती है audience में, so that was the point where I said यार वो ठीक है, मैं ऑडियंस के साथ चिपक जाता हूँ, मुझे जो कन्विक्शन लगती है मैं करूँगा, कुछ चलेंगी कुछ नहीं चलेंगी. The biggest shock, I think, honestly, Mubarak not opening.
Yes, even I,
was something, because फिल्म देखने के बाद तो मुझे पता था कि फिल्म अच्छी है. और आज भी लोग जब देखते हैं, it's not like anybody's ever had a bad word to say about it.
it trended also very well.
Yeah, so from 5 to 55, it played out at 10x, which is a successful film ratio. But for a big film, it didn't take a big start. Yeah. And it had all the trappings too. And I was coming off Half Girlfriend, and we were releasing at a time where we were quite excited about the film. But somewhere maybe the trailer had not tracked as well. But the film then grew to Sunday 10 crores again, and it ended up doing 55 with major opposition. Harry Met Sejal, Toilet Ek Prem Katha, Bareilly Ki Barfi. But maybe we came at a time where the trailer didn't do it, and a few films had not worked just before that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. मैं आज भी मुबारक की ओपनिंग नहीं समझ पाता हूँ कि 5 करोड़ तक कैसे रहेगी. मैं
and if you look at the 10 years, you have seen the highs, you have seen the lows. Yeah. How do you tackle the highs and the lows? Because you have seen big openers like a Gunde, 2 states, and then you have seen some films which have not
by being the same person, Himesh. That's all. By not changing. Success is very fickle. फ्राइडे सबका आता है, पर बाकी जो उसके बाद सैटरडे टू थर्सडे सर्वाइव करना है वो ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होता है. फ्राइडे सबके आगे चले जाते हैं और फ्राइडे सबके अच्छे आते हैं. मतलब जब आप बैटिंग करने जाते हो तो एक तो बॉल आएगी ना मिडिल ऑफ द बैट पे. व्हेन इट्स नॉट गोइंग फॉर यू, यू स्टिल हैव टू बी बैटिंग द सेम वे. यू स्टिल हैव टू बी प्लेइंग विद योर हेड डाउन. यू स्टिल हैव टू बी ग्राफ्टिंग. यू टू टेक योर सिंगल्स, यू टू टेक योर वंस एंड टूज. जो मिलता है उसे लेना पड़ता है. यू हैव टू बी अडेप्टेबल एंड यू हैव टू बी reacting to what the reality is. You cannot be delusional. You can't be brash. When success happens, you can't be either. And when failure happens, all that people will shake and get you out of it. So you rather not get so delusional that people need to shake you out of it.
True.
So you have to be yourself and you have to remain. It's the toughest thing. इस profession में I feel it is जो आदमी change नहीं होता. As in, I'm not saying change in terms of growth. I'm saying personality wise. If you stay rooted and grounded, you can survive your success and failures, because success तो सबको आता है. Failure survive करके success तक वापस जाना ना, that is the point of this profession. True. It's like snakes and ladders. Whenever you feel you've made it, there will be something that will bring you down. Absolutely. But you have to have the same ability to keep going again. That head down. I mean, the biggest stars go through the phase.
Like that's exactly what I think. I was speaking to Janvi 2 days back, and she told me that one thing she has learned from Arjun Bhaiya, she calls you Arjun Bhaiya, is that he was made to believe the entire world is against him, and even then he walked ahead with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to have this positive attitude, which even your family looks up to you for?
I mean, I believe in myself, and I back myself. I have always known that I'm an underdog. Even when I was making my debut, a lot of people think I was a star kid. I wasn't. Nobody knew what I looked like. आज के ज़माने में थोड़ा अलग होता है. जब डेब्यू हो रहे हो उसके 1 साल पहले आपका बिल्डअप चालू हो जाता है. तभी कोई मुझे जानता नहीं था. I went and auditioned. This is the space where I used to audition for Ishaq Zadeh. And I'm not saying that it was difficult or easy, but I'm just saying even then there was nobody in the industry who thought that I can make it. Aditya Chopra saw my audition with Shanu Sharma and gave me a chance to re-audition for Ishaqzade. A lot of people had told me that don't become an actor. I'm not conventional looking since day one. I did an unconventional film day one. I did a film that has negative shades. At interval, you're supposed to walk out hating my character. I played a character that is not me at all. If you meet me, आपको लगता है मैं परमा हूँ इशकजादे का कि कुछ नहीं होता था दा देख लेंगे. I'm not that person at all. So since day one, I've always gone against the grain and backed myself because I know my capabilities. So I've always stood up for my own self and my own talent. And अगर आप बोलोगे मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता फिर तो मैं करूँगा ही करूँगा. मुझे बोला था एक्टर मत बनो, मैं बन गया. मुझे बोला था होस्टिंग मत करना, मैंने की. मुझे बोला था ओल्डर वुमेन के साथ रोल मत करना कियन का, मैं हील्स मत पहनना, मैंने वो किया. मुझे संदीप और पिंकी फरार के क्लाइमैक्स के बारे में लोगों ने बोला था, मैंने क्रॉस ड्रेस करके डांस किया. मुझे आई माइट फेल but I will do it because how can somebody else decide what you are? You decide what you are and walk the path less taken and do it with that absolute belief in yourself. I have conviction in my own ability and I make my own choices. मेरा simple है यार, मैं अपने बलबूते पे खड़ा हूँ. मैं हाँ बोलता हूँ तो एक पिक्चर करता हूँ, ना बोलता हूँ तो नहीं करता. Personal life में भी certain choices I've made are mine and I'm very strong mentally and emotionally and my will is very strong. I'm very perseverant. I don't give up. So if she looks up to me for that, I do not believe the whole world is against me. I just believe the world has still not understood me enough. And that's a matter of time. And my work will do that. And the fact that if I stay like this, आज आप ये इंटरव्यू ले लो और आपका भूत पुलिस का ले लो, उसके बाद आप तीसरा ले लेना. कंसिस्टेंटली मैं वैसा ही रहूँगा. चाहे मेरी पिक्चर की ओपनिंग अच्छी हो, चाहे मेरी पिक्चर को सक्सेस मिला हो, फेलियर मिला हो, अगर मैं सेम रहूँगा, just because I'm a little different from what you expect me to be, you'll take time to adjust to me. मैं आपकी सुबह की चाय नहीं हूँ, मैं ब्लैक कॉफी हूँ. Correct. तो आपको उसका भी टेस्ट आ जाएगा.
Of course. And you know you spoke about opening and how you don't change with openings. जब एक villain released on Friday, it opened at almost 7 crore on day one, and then it was steady through the weekend. And you followed it like extensively. How did you view this opening number, and what were the conversations before the release with regards to opening, and how do you view?
See, because Himesh, you know better than anybody right now. There's a bit of sensitivity towards numbers because it's new again. It's almost like restarting from scratch. There's a false notion that 3 साल theatre बंद होने के बाद we should just get up and start running. It might take some time because the audience has also gotten used to different palettes, different taste buds. So we are also assessing it. At the same time, some biggies have not performed up to caliber, and some films that normally the smaller niche films should play out at a certain number also haven't. Along with that, certain mass cinema from Pushpa to RRR have done well in Hindi. So there's been a certain chaos of numbers. How do you comprehend? How do you make sense out of it? So as a student, I was very interested to see where villain pans out. You know, honestly, it wasn't me, the actor alone. I'm somebody who takes great pride in understanding. But this time, I just wanted to say, okay, I don't know anything. I want to learn. And I kind of tried to use that. So the conversation was more about, let's see what happens. To be honest, just to be in the upper end of the spectrum right now is a huge accomplishment going by the last few months.
True.
That shouldn't mean that we should only aspire for that. The aspiration is to go back to what things were pre-pandemic. But we have to now understand the taste of the audience post the pandemic also.
And you know, it has done well in UK as well. We have been leading. Is that one of the surprises of your career if you look at it?
Perhaps. But I also do feel the music has a lot to do with it. You know, the UK audience, the Southeast Asia audience really taps into music. They really go by that. And I somewhere feel, and I'm just saying this from my learning in the last 5 days, I might be wrong. I'll have to reassess it after the whole film's release is done, etc. But I feel the chatter that happens on social media doesn't affect the film as much overseas as it perhaps does within the country, because we are way more clued in. You know, they are still, I think, looking at it from an entertainment point of view alone. There's not so much of chatter about the hashtags and the conversation about the detailing of it. It's still more of an entertaining experience for the audience outside. And they are gauging it on a trailer, music and watching level. Over here, perhaps it's a bit more detailed now. It's become more about getting into the details. Everybody has a point of view and an opinion, lots of it. So perhaps that does affect, does send a mixed signal out from time to time. I think over there was no mixed signal to read only. They just went with the flow and excitement. I mean, it did well in the Gulf also. It's done well enough in Australia and America. So The overseas audience reacting means that they like the trailer and they impulsively reacted to it.
Basically, there was some sort of interest that they, prior to the release.
Yeah, I think the trailer and the music had done its job the way perhaps in India it used to be earlier. I would say pre-pandemic the reaction would have been similar. I think post-pandemic there is. See, I don't blame the audience for being a little skeptical. We've not been able to deliver consistently, but and I'm saying even during the pandemic, our films on OTT also were not as consistent.
True.
So we've perhaps made people a bit wary. So we have to deliver a little better. But it's not been intentional. You know, the feeling created is कि हम जानबूझ के खराब पिक्चरें बना रहे हैं. तो वो नहीं है. It is just that maybe we've lost our way and a connect with the audience to some degree. Can you blame us? Maybe we need to introspect. But can you hate us for it? It's a bit unfair, you know. So that tends to happen a lot on Friday morning without even allowing the film a day to breathe now.
Yeah.
I think overseas the breathing is still there, and that is why you can see the momentum comes from word of mouth actually.
How it used to be before.
Yeah.
And you know, I met Rohit Shetty recently, and he told me that in the pandemic times, we need to give additional incentive to the audience to come to the theatre.
100%.
And he was like, in next 2 years, 2 hero films is the way forward, and then again the actors can come back to doing solo films.
5,000%. I've been a big. I mean, I think if you go back to my earlier interviews also, I've always vouched for this. When we did Bhoot Police's interview also, for me there is. How can it be a bad thing if you come together and create a possibility for people to see interesting faces, do great performances and have fun along the way? So I've done Gunde, I've done Mubaraka. For me, Panipat was with Sanju sir, Bhoot Police, Equivalent Returns. मुझे कभी भी उस चीज़ का खौफ नहीं है. इनफैक्ट मुझे एक्साइटमेंट थी. आई डोंट नो व्हाई ये खौफ है. आई थिंक क्या ना लोग बहुत पोजीशनिंग और मेरा क्या होगा, मेरी पोजीशन क्या है, पोस्टर पे कितना बड़ा कितना छोटा. आई थिंक वी डोंट बैक आवरसेल्व्स इनफ. अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स, यू नो, द पीपल अराउंड अस डोंट अलाउ अस टू बिलीव that working together is the future. It's always about, it's become a little selfish. The industry tends to be make you that way because you always look at where do I stand. But where does the industry stand is also important. And right now I think we are suffering a little bit because of the fact that we've all taken care of ourselves. But not collaboratively come together and make slightly better and more cohesive films. So when you see a war do well or a Tanaji do well, they both have two faces that are going off against each other. I'm not saying दो heroine भी हो जाए.
Yeah. Basically
मतलब मेरे wedding हो जाए. You need faces. I mean, you need, maybe not always, but in some cases, like for me, even when an Article 15 did well, there is Kumud Mishra and there is Manoj Pav. You need faces who are performing, and in all cases, I'm saying you do need. Agnipath में ना, there was Sanjay Dutt, Rishi Kapoor, Priyanka Chopra with Hrithik Roshan. You know, it's a big poster. It's not only Hrithik Roshan और बाकी सब कोई नहीं है. You know, so that ensemble feeling is exciting. And the future, the past was always this. You look at Anil Chachu's career, Mr. Bachchan's career, Ajay sir, Akshay sir, Saif. You look at all of them. I mean, what bigger examples? Karan Arjun. मतलब कुछ होता है. You look at Jeet, you look at Govinda and Sanju sir's film हसीना मान जाएगी. You look at बड़े मियाँ छोटे मियाँ, the original Amit ji. You see Trishul, you see all of Yash ji's films, you see Rohit Shetty's films, Bol Bachchan, Golmaal for that matter. There are faces. There's Kareena and Kareena in Golmaal, the third one, she was there. She's no less than a hero in that film. So you need faces.
I think coming back, you know, we are seeing Shah Rukh sir and Salman sir doing a film together.
I just hope it continues. That's the point. Like for me, Vikram Vedha is exciting to see Saif Ali Khan and Hrithik Roshan together.
True.
For me, those are the films that will always be exciting regardless. So I'm very excited about this. If Rohit Shetty is saying it, means it is going to happen more and more. Because he's somebody who understands the pulse of the audience, and if he's saying it, then it's the need of the hour that we need to be more collaborative. You can get better budgets out of it. You can make films, I hate saying compete, but the aspiration that we have to tell stories.
Make big films.
Yeah, you can make larger than life. You can make films that make people want to come to theatres rather than see them at home. That's important.
And you know, there's this old saying which I think even Dhoni ji has said in multiple interviews. हर actor, हर director की अपनी एक गली रहती है. And जब वो गली पकड़ लेता है, तब उसका career on track आ जाता है. 10 years. Have you found your gully as an actor yet?
मतलब Equivalent Returns में गलियाँ थी, so that's a plural. But okay, so I look at it this way. I think sometimes that gully finds you rather than you finding it. In the early part of my career, I was known for the intensity and the action and the slightly bad boy, rugged, attitude-driven roles that I did. But I also wanted to venture out and test myself in all kinds of genres. So I ended up doing the Half Girlfriends and Kian Kas and Mubarakas of this world to kind of get a sense of that world also, two states. And to be honest, most of my biggest successes turned out to be the rom-coms, numbers-wise and appreciation-wise. So I've dabbled in comedy, I've dabbled in action, I've dabbled in romance, I've dabbled in everything, whether it's a horror comedy or it's a period drama, espionage film, or when it comes to a high-concept rom-com. Today I'm doing an ensemble heist film like Kuttey, and I'm doing an intense romantic thriller like Lady Killer. So it's not that I'm trying to find my gully. I'm just doing work that excites me. I do believe that path will find me. Yes, the leaning now with my age and with the kind of reaction I've got with Equal Returns just consolidating is there is a certain intensity in me that audiences like.
Thoda mass basically.
Yeah, the intensity, the quality that makes me slightly different from my contemporaries, which perhaps I can do, I won't say more easily, but with more conviction. Is whether it's the dialogue bazi or it's the silent looking into camera and just having that intensity, the carriage of an action hero, performance dramatic driven action hero, anti-heroes, the grey shades. I think eventually that is a space that I definitely, वो गली में मैं रहना चाहता हूँ. अब बीच में छोटे detours भी मार सकता हूँ, comedy कर ली, कभी romance कर लिया, लेकिन that definitely is the trajectory that I would like to. I mean, I really look up to Ajay Devgn's career as a reference point, if I may say so. Dare I say it, but for me, he is an inspiration. The way he's managed to cultivate his audience. He's done performance-driven films. He's done action. He's done comedy with Rohit sir. He's done Singham. Drishyam भी करते हैं. खुद director भी है, खुद producer है, खुद distributor है. He's created a legacy. So for me, and now he's working with Dad and Maidan. I'm so happy. For me, I think he's an inspiration. So somewhere I feel I'm heading in subconsciously. I've always meandered towards following his career quite a bit. So he did De De Pyar De also in the middle. I think he
balances it out.
I think and he's so relaxed about it. He has a Tanaji also. He's the same.
Yeah.
You know, his attitude, the demeanor. So for me, Ajay Devgn is a true reference point of. It's not about aping somebody's career. It's just as a reference कि यार वो आदमी ने इतना सब कुछ करने के बावजूद भी एक गली पकड़ के रखी है. So when you talk about गली, I would like to learn from somebody like him.
And do you want to direct ever? Because you have a filmmaker in you, there is one clip of your direction which keeps going viral wherein you directed Varun.
No, Varun directed me. That's terrible. I shouldn't be directed. I should not be given credit for that. Varun is a terrible director. Any actor that signs a film should know that is directed by Varun Dhawan. And he gave me the worst role. मेरे साथ नाइंसाफी हुई थी उसमें. मुझे बोला था मैं हीरो और एंड में मुझे मार के चले गया वो. वरुण दिखता है स्वामी टाइप का, लेकिन है बड़ा टाइप का, जैसे उसकी खुद की मैं तेरा हीरो में डायलॉग है ना. तो I would like to direct. I will produce and direct, and that's very much on the radar. I in fact feel Himesh, pandemic नहीं हुआ होता, 2-3 साल लॉकडाउन नहीं हुआ होता, मैं अभी तक कहीं ना कहीं प्रोडक्शन ऑलरेडी बहुत एक्टिवली चालू कर चुका होता. बट it's something that is very, very important to me, and I want to do it right. I do see myself gathering some momentum and time now from next year onwards and working towards it. So hopefully another few years. I don't want to put a timeline to it because also I'm exploring as an actor. I would like to see where that is going, and I'm really enjoying doing all kinds of films. But production is definitely that. Direction I'll have to take little time off to do. You know, I don't want to be one of those that is being half-baked, because for me then that is a trajectory I really want to follow through on. I mean, when you see directors, their jobs are the toughest, you know. So I don't want to undermine just doing a one-off just for fun. I would like to take some time off and do it properly. But it's both are on my agenda. मुझे और कुछ आता भी नहीं है यार. For me, the film industry is I sleep and eat and dream cinema. I just want to be here, and maybe as an actor, some stories don't suit me, but as a director and producer, they definitely will.
And you know, you are also doing a film with your father, that is F2. He has said it in my interview itself that he's making. At
this point of time, we've not been able to quite crack which film to do together. So that is one possibility that remains. We purchased the rights of that and kept. We also have a couple of other, but the intent is to do a film together soon. We've honestly not cracked it to the T. And if he said it, it must have been at that point where he must have felt that we are closer to it. But I haven't been able to sit down with him and figure which film to do next. But it's on the anvil, it's on the radar, and hopefully in the next few months I'll also have clarity. But if you come to know before me, like mostly Himesh will know before me, Himesh, please let me know.
No, you know it. You know it all. You know everything that's happening in the industry. So yeah, and you have 2 more films, actually 3 more films. There is Kuttey, there is
Lady Killer.
Lady Killer, and you are doing a comedy with Mudassar Aziz, if I'm not wrong.
Let it get announced, then I'll be able to tell you.
Okay, so at least the 2 which are announced. Could you tell us something on?
So Kuttey is a film that's ready. We finished shooting for it in Feb. The film is ready. It's going to be out on 4th of November. It's a true ensemble in its representation. It's got Tabbu, Radhika Madan, Kumud Mishra, Nasiruddin Shah, Konkana Sen Sharma, and Shardul Bharadwaj, Ashish Vidyarthi. So it's a proper ensemble. It's a nice, fun heist film. Baap ne kabhi nahi banai thi, beta kutte bana raha hai. That should give you some perspective of where that film will be. It's high on energy. It's high on humor and thrills and action. Set in Mumbai, so it's got all the trappings of being a nice, entertaining, cool heist film. And I've always wanted to do heist film. You know, my dream has been to do a nice heist film. So it's got that whole feel to it. Vishalji's worked on the music and the dialogues, and Asman's written it himself. So very fun film. And Gulzar Saab ke lyrics hai. I think that film really excites me because there's something new about the energy that Asman has. Love is a producer on that T-series, and Love are producing that with Vishalji together. So I think it's the right combination of, as they say, art and commerce. The purist that Vishalji is and the mainstreamism that Love stands for. So just to work with Tabbu was a dream. To work with Kumud sir again, to work with Nasir sir again. These are the stuff of dreams, you know, when you get to stand in frame with these actors, you just have fun. So very exciting film in terms of energy, and just for me at a personal level, the fact that in the pandemic we were able to set up a film like this and do it, you know, when it's not easy. Just at a making level also, to put such a cast together and to shoot a film that is tough with action, rain, chaos, you know, all that.
Fun.
And fun. So I'm quite excited about putting Kuttey out there. It's coming out 4th November. Lady Killer I've almost completed. I have a few days work left on it. That's Bhumi and myself. We shot in the mountains, Manali and Nainital. We have a bit left in Delhi to do. Very visceral film. Ajay Devgn is a fantastic filmmaker, a director who I was very keen to work with after BA Pass. And then Section 375 also I love. But this script in itself is, I mean, it's one of the best scripts I've read. I think perhaps the best script. It's like a novel, you know. It's like a proper romantic thriller, you know. Those noir thrillers that you've perhaps not seen enough of in our cinema. So very visceral, very raw. There's a lot of emotion in the romance, passion. So from Bhumi and me both, it's a very different sort of film. Performance oriented, completely mood based. But a very exciting film, but it's still too early to talk about it in detail because I would give away too much of the mood of the film, but definitely it's in the new age cinema category for that matter.
On that note, thank you so much. It was lovely speaking to you and looking forward to your upcoming
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Arjun Kapoor. If you like this interview, please like, share and subscribe to Pinkvilla.